Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David, and we are returning to you with a July to be read list. A TBR, that's right. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I got to thinking, that's a good way to get back into making some videos regularly, getting some content that people are going to be excited to click on and look at. I'm definitely a lot more of a mood reader, and I think my TBR is going to reflect that. What I decided to do is pick way more books than I plan to get to in the month. But this gives me some room to flex through the options. So what I considered doing and actually went ahead with was I have 21 different shelf spots, essentially, between all my bookshelves. So I thought it'd be fun to grab a book off of each shelf. So I've got 21 books here, not counting my XMen every day. I've got a couple of those to show at the very end. So let's get right into it, because it's going to take a while to get through 21 of these. And we all know I'm not known for brevity here. So I'm going to be potentially reading Dark Crusade. I really want to dive back into Conan, but because we have Sumerian September coming up, where we're going to read everything Conan, I didn't want to dive into that yet. Dive back into Conan. So I figured, what better way to kind of quench a little bit of that than Karl Edward Wagner, Dark Crusade. So this is the second of the Kane novels. There were 3 Kane novels and a bunch of short story collections. I have the second and third novel and 2 short story collections. So I'm missing one. I think it's like Bloodlines or Bloodstone, something like that, which I don't have. But that's okay, because I don't feel like there's any need for there to be chronology in reading these. This is just going to be plain fun. Whole lot of fun. So Dark Crusade. Kane, swordsman and king. Out of the blackness of an almost forgotten past, a cult of ancient evil has come to life again, a daring outlaw, its prophet on this earth. Thousands of converts are drawn to his dark crusade as the chaotic mob of religious fanatics washes over the civilized world. The old orders are destroyed and a hierarchy of anarchy takes over. Kane serves the evil cult for one purpose alone. He intends to rule the earth himself. So I'm excited to dive into that. And again, with 21 options, I'm probably not getting anywhere close to all of them. For a frame of reference, last month I think I finished 5 books. 4 of them coming in the last week. So I've been in a bit of a reading slump, but with this last week, I'm hopefully picking up a little bit more and finally hitting a balance that allows me to go forward and have a little bit more reading. So I grabbed Broken Stars Anthology. So this is contemporary Chinese science fiction in translation. I've read a couple of the stories previously and have really enjoyed them. So I figured this is a great reason to pick more of this up. This is part of the fun of having, one off of each shelf, because I've got them sorted in 3 categories: hardcover, trade paperbacks, and mass market paperback size. And so it's going to let me dabble in a whole bunch of them. And then from there, they're alphabetically organized. So, of course, the hardcover shelf that had Bradbury, I had to grab a Ray Bradbury. So we're going to do Artists for Rocket. It's been a while since I've gotten into a Ray Bradbury. And so this would be a great way to get back into it. It's got some very, very familiar stories in here. The Foghorn, the Rocket, the Rocket Man, Golden Apples of the Sun, Sound of Thunder. Here There Be Tigers, like Uncle Einar. Lots of really, really recognizable stories in here. A lot of them are going to be reread stories, but this is going to be the first time reading this collection. And it should be fun. It's always fun getting into Ray Bradbury. I am going to read George Orwell, A Collection of Essays. I've really been having a strong urge to want to read literary essays, read reviews, things of that nature. And so what better opportunity than picking up Orwell, collection of essays. So this has got a good handful in there, which will allow me to get a feel for his writing style. As you can see there's a decent number in there. So got something on Charles Dickens, Rudyard Kipling, politics in the English language, reflections on Gandhi. So there's some really good ones. Ending with why I write. All right, next we have Sharp's Rifles. This is Bernard Cornwell. So part of me wanted to pick up book 3 in the Warlord Chronicles and finish that one off. But I had a different book that I really wanted to pick off that shelf because it's going to be a lot shorter. And this is also shorter. I have not read any of the Sharp series. This is the first book in that series. You can see there, book 1. I've read a fair amount of Bernard Cornwell and enjoyed a lot of it, quite a bit. This is his big series that I've never tried. And it's relatively short. Well, I guess almost 300 pages. It doesn't feel like 300 pages. But, you know, it should be a fun one to read if I get to it. So I've got a tour double here. Harlan Ellison, Run for the Stars, and Jack Dan and Jack C. Haldeman, Echoes of Thunder. So this is 2 novellas in one. I picked it mainly for the Harlan Ellison, because this is the one Harlan Ellison thing on my shelf that I haven't read yet. So I figured it would be a good opportunity to knock that off. And being a much shorter read, 89 pages, and then the second one being about that as well. So really good opportunity to knock off some shorter pieces. I almost picked a couple other doubles and just held off. I grabbed The Many-Colored Land by Julian May. This is book 1 of 4 in the Saga of the Pliocene Exile series that Steve Donahue actually made a video probably 6 or 8 months ago recommending some book series that don't really get talked about as much, that are really worth your time. And this was one of the series. And I looked at my shelf, I'm like, I've got all 4 of these. Okay, great. I haven't gotten around to starting it yet. So I've pulled it off with the intention of starting it. And if I continue doing a TBR in this method, for 4 months, I could just pick the next book along the way each time. So for one of the July events, because we have to participate in at least some of the July events. We don't have to do all of them by any means. I'm not doing any Jane Austen July. I don't have a Jane Austen on my shelf. But even if I did, I'm not sure I would do Jane Austen July. I'm just not feeling it right now. But BookTube at War is coming up. So this is edited by J.E. Pornell. There Will Be War. So this is an anthology. It's got a bunch of short stories in there. Let's see. You can see, very healthy list. We've got stories by Larry Niven and Jerry Pornell. We got Poole Anderson. We got Orson Scott Card, Spider Robinson, Joe Haldeman, Robert Heinlein, Jerry Pornell, Philip K. Dick, David Drake, Gordon Dixon, Rudyard Kipling in here. So all kinds of stories in there. BookTube at War. There Will Be War. But I couldn't pass up the opportunity to also grab this one as part of BookTube at War. There Won't Be War. Edited by Harry Harrison and Bruce McAllister. I imagine that there's kind of a parallel between these. It was probably made in response to There Will Be War, which I have multiple there. I think I have volume 2 of There Will Be War. So, maybe I'll just roll into that too. So we got some contents here. A lot fewer stories. Oh, I guess there's another one on the back. We got Isaac Asimov, Kim Stanley Robinson, Joe Haldeman, Jack C. Haldeman, Timothy Zahn, Frederick Pohl, Harry Harrison. So I figured this would be a fun pairing to read together. And I'm going to really try to get to those because I want to participate in the month. And the next one is the other one that I'm definitely going to try to read. So if I get through just a pitiful number of books. Those two, this one, and then one other. There are going to be 4 that I'm going to try really, really hard to get to. So this is The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. I picked this up late last year, right before the 500 book challenge. I've read damn near everything Brandon Sanderson. I think only his young adult Skyward series I have never read, and the White Sand series of graphic novels. But I've read almost everything else Brandon Sanderson. I enjoy it, by and large. And so this is book 4 in the Era 2 Mistborn, and I love the Era 2 Mistborn. So I don't know why I haven't read this yet, but I haven't. It's been on my shelf for a while. That changes this month. I'm going to read this. All right, so next on my shelf, this is the one that took the place of the Bernard Cornwell book 3. And that is The Adventures of the Stainless Steel Rat by Harry Harrison. In particular, book 3 in here. I've read the first 2 books in there. So I've got to read The Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World. It's been a long time since I've read the first 2, but these are short-ish, a little over 100 pages, and just so much fun. Yes, this would be a good Garbagus pick, but I'm just gonna roll with it. Next, we have one that I feel bad that I haven't read yet, and it's been on my shelf for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I'm going to finally start. I probably won't get through all 4 in here, but I think all 4 volumes, all 4 of the Dying Earth novels are in this one volume. So Tales of the Dying Earth. I'm going to try to read at least the first one. This is not on the I will for sure, but I really want to get to this. One that I started probably about a month and a half ago. I'm going to pick back up and try to get through Castles in Warfare in the Middle Ages. I was enjoying it, just too many other things that it fell to the side. And so I'm going to pick it back up. I'm going to go right back into it. Medieval Iceland. So this is Society, Sagas, and Power by Jesse L. Byock. Definitely want to read more medieval stuff. I missed out on doing a lot for Historathon Quarter 2 and Ancients-a-thon. I did read a couple. I'll talk about that in a separate wrap-up video if I get around to making a wrap-up video. Best of intentions, yes, I will. But there's not that much to wrap up. Arthur C. Clarke, Childhood's End. This is the one out of all the Arthur C. Clarke's when I did my library tour. The back of this stood out so much. It sounds so fantastic. I haven't read anything Arthur C. Clarke yet. And I have it from other viewers that this is a really good one to start with. So that was an easy selection. We have Ancient My Enemy by Gordon R. Dickson. I have a bunch of Dickson on my shelf because I won a couple lots that had a lot of Dickson in them. And this is a selection of short stories. This cover has always called out to me. The title has always seemed interesting. So this is one that I'd like to get around to. This is book 8, I think it is. Yeah, the 8th book in the Barsoom series, Swords of Mars. This was one of the easiest selections to make. This is still not one of the I'm definitely going to, but I'm probably going to get to because it's going to be a great palate cleanser. Fast moving, whole lot of fun. I'd love to finish the Barsoom series this year and get rolled into Tarzan. I have not read anything Poul Anderson. I want to change that. This was the first one I grabbed off the shelf because I was like, okay, I know what's coming off of the shelf that has the ace. As much as Asimov wants me to pull some Asimov, I need to get to Poul Anderson. I've got 2 different Poul Anderson novels on my shelf. This one's been there the longest. It's short, it's easy, and it's sure to be a lot of fun. So the one I'm for sure going to finish is Dan Simmons and Dim Neon. So as you can see there, I'm well over halfway. Maybe right around the halfway point. So right around the halfway point. Really, really was enjoying this last month. Then I felt compelled in the last week to, actually read some things for Ancients-a-thon because I realized I hadn't, and so I did. I have no regrets about that. But I want to get back to this. So that is the other I'm definitely going to be reading. So now we come to the graphic novels. I have 2 shelves that have graphic novels on them. And so from those 2 shelves, I grabbed Captain America, Winter Soldier. So nice little thin volume here. It says Volume 2. I imagine this has got just the Winter Soldier storyline. Says it's got Captain America 8 and 9, 11 through 14. So it should be a real easy one to get through and read. I'm excited about it because I know Michael K. Vaughan and Steve Donahue talked about this a couple months ago. I didn't have it at the time. I've since corrected that, and I plan to read that. The other one I'm going to get through is the Man of Steel Volume 1. I started this one. I'm enjoying it a lot. I've got 6 more volumes of Man of Steel, I think it is. So this will be an easy every month pick off there. So now we come to the end where we have the X-Men. Because I'm reading an X-Men every morning. Usually every morning. So the one I'm currently working through right now is the new X-Men, Volume 1, E is for Extinction. So this is kind of like the reboot that Grant Morrison did. This has got the extinction level event where Genosha, an island where the mutants were staying on, gets wiped out. So 16 million mutants gone. Just got to the end of that happening. I'm not a huge fan of the art style. That is my least favorite thing about this. You can see there the predominant players here. Professor X, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Cat Beast, who just turned into Cat Beast just before this, I think. We got Wolverine, who does not look very much like Wolverine. And then we got Emma Frost. And so this just had Emma Frost finding her secondary mutation where she turned into a diamond. That happened on page in this. When I'm done with that, since I don't have Volume 2 of the new X-Men, I have Volumes 3 and 5 on my shelf. So I'm probably not going to continue that unless I can find Volume 2 at a reasonable price. I'm probably going to jump from there into Old Man Logan. And once I get to Old Man Logan and get through this, expect the Mutant Monday to make a return to talk about this one, because I have a feeling I'm going to have things to say. And then once that's done, the rest of the month will probably be dedicated to my one and only X-Men Epic Collection. So this is the Executioner's Song. So you can see there the 90s team of the X-Men. We got Psylocke, we got Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue, Cyclops, Beast up there, he's not a cat. Got Jubilee hiding down there in the corner. You can see there Apocalypse looking over them on the back. And this has got a lot of issues in there. So this is Executioner's Song. This is Volume 21, so 92 through 93. I would really love to pick up some more X-Men Epic Collections going forward. Because, let's face it, that's what I really, really enjoy reading. And I am enjoying reading it. Like, even this E for Extinction with the art style that I'm just not liking at all. The story is telling is really interesting. So, there we go. Under 20 minutes, somehow. 21 books plus the 3 X-Men that I showed. That's what I'm planning on reading. I have 2 buddy reads I'm doing this month I also didn't show. I'm going to be buddy reading King Lear by Shakespeare with Aaron Facer. And I'm going to be buddy reading The Word Horde, which is a book about Old English with Vin from Revenant Reads, which we are starting this week. So I'm very, very excited about both of those. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because I got so many things to still do. I will catch you later.